Hey everybody.
Hi.
Energy. So my story's called Father's Day. When I was a kid, I used to pretend I had the magical ability to fly. Back when I was small and we got along, my dad used to lift me up and swing me around his arms, soaring to new heights, scaling foreign terrains from the sofa through mountains of freshly clean laundry that my mother did, and back again like I was Peter Pan or Tinker Bell. By 6, I was convinced I had the gift of flight and caved into triple dog dare after triple dog dare, taking an extra step of confidence right off the top step of my grandma's staircase. My collarbone, not so indestructible. Also surprisingly not so indestructible, my dad and I's relationship over the years. The rockier relationship of the family, this has cyclically revolved around who has the first word, who instigates him, and who has the last word, me, for as long as I can remember. And according to him and his version of the truth, it was always me. Two alphas constantly clashing, he picking fights like a fresh mosquito bite, and I either choosing violence with facts or the path of least resistance. Some people just don't like being challenged, but who knew? I'm 26 years old, in a seasonal depression, and curing my numbness with a late night Christmas shopping K-hole when I come across the perfect gift for me. Tandem skydiving. Thanks, Groupon, not sponsored. Purchasing the duo pack is actually cheaper, so I plan to set the date for my mom and I, as it's something that's been on both of our bucket lists for as long as I can remember. I click purchase, see the charge hit my credit statement, and I reach out to the Tandem email provided to book our flights. Weeks later, after the big Christmas reveal, I receive a reply. Out of the 3 dates the Tandem company provides, there is only one that works. Father's Day. This ought to be good. So Father's Day rolls around and my mother and I have procrastinated telling him about his surprise day long enough. We're headed in the car eastbound and the signs are blinking above us that say, "Driving questionably, rageful, you look ridiculous." I suppose there's no time like the present to tell him the day of. His driving is questionable at best. My perspective shifts to my painfully silent father, passive-aggressively making his presence known by the lack of seatbelt that he's not wearing. He's not taking this news well. "Dad, you're driving on the wrong side of the road!" The car swerves to the right lane, halting to the shoulder, narrowly missing another car. We sit in brief silence before my father mutters under his breath as usual, and then just puts the car back in drive in silence. I know that if I say anything further, it'll be like a cigarette to an already struck flame inside of him. This was supposed to be his day, but instead it was going to be my day before his day, my mother's day before his day. For someone who typically makes everything about him, this was my chance to have the TV remote this time. My chance to control the narrative. The silence is broken. What if I had to celebrate every Father's Day after losing you both, having that on my mind forever? His vulnerability is unexpected. I'm not really sure what to make of it or if I can even trust it. Why does it take a what-if scenario to get him or others to really speak their heart? I have no regrets. Dad, we're gonna be fine. People do this all the time. Just look at Tom Cruise. He reminds me that I am no Tom Cruise, and you know, he's right because I don't know anything about Shelley Miscavige. And I don't plan to do any future Mission Impossible level stunts in the near or distant future. When we arrive at the tandem site, down a few narrow dirt roads into what I'd consider Texas Chainsaw by the way of Suffolk County, Long Island, my mother and I willfully sign our life insurance policies away, and it's a pretty thin document for such a potentially hefty loss for him. I say YOLO, c'est la vie, we're doing this, baby. Sign the dotted line. What's going on, man? My guide oozes testosterone while handing me my harness. He says his name, but I retain absolutely nothing. What's up, man? I throw up two of the hang loose signs, and he smiles right back at me. Was I ready for this? The clouds aren't dissipating, and neither is my fear. My instructor straps me into my harness. Wouldn't want you to slip out, he says. He's not flirting with me, but is he flirting with me? He's flirting with me. He's definitely flirting with me. Soon, I will be the bottom to his top. As I'm strapped in, I watch as my dad paces in the background, his arms folded. My mom watches on. And in the distance, the engine to the hangar starts. The propellers picking up wind and speed. I think I hear my dad say I love you, but it could have been my mom saying it while pushing onto my hand while we're holding each other, entrusting these strangers with our fate. And then we march to the plane behind our instructors, Dad fading in the East Hamptons mist back at the end of the runway. As the plane pulls higher in elevation, I wish I had brought gum as my ears pop, 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 crackle. My eyes water, not from fear, but the coldness of the plane. Was it even properly insulated? Will I make it to land? Will I get to see what I missed on Glee? In the hangar, I can't look anywhere but out the window into the overcast. 10,000 feet above land, my guide reminds us as I ask myself the deeper questions. What would Tom Cruise do? I volunteer to go first, ripping the Band-Aid right off. As easy as clicking that Groupon purchase right at checkout. Any last words, man? My mom's guide cackles, pointing the camera directly into my face. As the hangar door swings open, air pressure pushing me against me like a wall. I swing my legs out as I dangle 13,000 plus feet above land and sea. I signed a contract. I have no choice. I turn to my mother and I say, I love you, before my focus snaps back to the vast openness below us. I feel no fear, no anxiety, no regrets. I'm oddly at peace with my decision I've made, no matter the outcome. The elevation has gotten to my brain. One life though, right? On the count of 3. 3, 2, and before we hit 1, I'm already tumbling, flying, flipping, face whipping at 300 miles per hour as I suck down wind, and most certainly bugs. Eat your heart out, Kathy Rigby. There's a new Peter Pan in town, bitch. Moments later, the parachute is pulled, jerking us back as we begin to windsurf through the air. My guide, the Jack to my Rose, guides my arms out as though we're flying. Jack, we're flying. Because we are. His hand guides mine to the handles and he asks me if me, want to be in control to get us back home to land. I do. As we hover over compounds that only high-powered entertainment attorneys or plastic surgeons' money could buy, I wonder, how's my dad doing back down on land? I wonder if he feels like he's missing out on the fun. Or maybe he's just cursing my name as usual. Either way, I know he'll be exactly where we left him, my lucky rat tail, on land, and maybe I just need to meet him where he's at while we're still both here, both in this one life left together. We descend to land, skidding across wildflowers and grass, and there's my dad, right where we left him, only softer, warmer, My dad, who by the way looks like Tony Soprano, rushes for the first time in a long time to my side, and he holds me for a brief moment and pats me on the back, letting out a sigh of relief. I hold him briefly, tightly, and say, "Happy Father's Day, Dad." Thank you.